Alright guys, so welcome to the podcast. If you're listening on iTunes, welcome. Google Play, welcome. Or if you're watching on YouTube, what's up and welcome to the show. If you're watching on the Blogspot, good morning. So I figured usually I go unscripted, but during the podcast, but this is NBA season, so I can't really risk anything here. Everyone has played at least one game at this point. The Cavs are at 2 wins currently. As of right now, they're probably at, I think they have 1 loss actually right now as well. And the last year's champ, Golden State, have 0 wins with 0 losses, which I think they actually took another loss. So I think they're 0-2. I'll have to check that out. Good start for the Cavs, of course. Not a good start for the last year's champs, of course. It is still insanely early, too early to tell. Really too early to talk about standings and stats and stuff like that. Of course, my all-time favorite team, Miami Heat, is at 0 wins with 1 loss. I think they actually have a win now. I'll have to check as well. This far. Not that they'll be winning a championship anytime soon. Of course, they could always hope. I'm definitely hoping that they hit the playoffs this year at least. Get a couple games into the playoffs. I'll be extremely happy, or at least the second round into the playoffs would be awesome. Of course, you can't ignore the 800-pound elephant in the room, the fact that Wade is now playing for the Cavs. Dwayne Wade is now playing for the Cavs. I definitely seen that one coming as soon as he heard that he left Miami Heat and went to Chicago last year. He kind of figured that LeBron would scoop him up to the Cavs. LeBron definitely brought him to the Cavs because he needs another ring. So he's trying to get on board all the great players that he can at this point. I'm sure if even Chris Bosh was still playing, he would definitely have grabbed him up to the Cavs as well. Portland, I'm hoping for a good year this year as well. They had a good year a couple of years back, and so far they are 2 wins with no losses, which I think, again, that has changed. I'm not 100% sure on that, though. I'll have to check as well. Of course, the dream of my top 4 favorite teams making the top 4 finale. Of course, I need to drink 1 sec. Now, that would be Miami Heat, Portland, Orlando, and the Hornets. With, of course, Heat versus Orlando, then, Heat versus Portland, and Orlando versus the Hornets, with the finals being Heat versus Orlando. With, of course, the Heat to win, but obviously that's not going to happen, not in my lifetime anyway. Now, like I said, this is way, way, way too early to be calling anything, because really not anything has really happened yet. I mean, everybody's just played a few games, but at this time, this time of the year, this time last year actually I called the finals, and I got, excuse me, I predicted the winner as well. So I'm going to try to do the same this year. Oh God, sorry. I'm going to pause there. And the reason I actually didn't do a podcast sooner is because I'm actually sick. So I'm still sick. Actually, I'm trying to get over it, but trying to make the most out of this podcast as I can. But anyway, I'm going to call a three-peat of the last 3 years. Golden State and the Cavs to Golden State and the Cavs in the NBA Finals. Of course, I'm going to take the Cavs to win that just because they have Wade. Bigger and better team this year, as usual, you know what I mean? On the news side, there's really not too much. Like I said, there's just in the beginning of the season, so there's really, of course, not going to be too much to talk about. I mean, Kevin Durant lost his shoe, which is enough to make NBA headlines, of course, but it's really not worthy to talk all day and all night about. No, I don't think so anyway. Heath Johnson had a monster slam a couple games ago. That was definitely noteworthy. If you haven't yet seen it, I suggest you hit up YouTube right now, stop watching this podcast right now, and go check it out, because that was definitely insanely awesome. But yeah, for schedule wise, anyway, NBA schedule has got, I think, 3 games coming up coming up as of, what day is it today? Sunday, October 22nd. Yeah, they have 3 games. One already started. Atlanta Hawks versus the Brooklyn Nets. It's 7 o'clock. Minnesota versus Oklahoma. 9:30. New Orleans versus Los Angeles. I'm of course going to take the Hawks to win their game, Oklahoma to win their game, and the LA Lakers to win their game, even though they probably might not. Monday, October 3rd, you have the Philadelphia 76ers versus Detroit Pistons. I'm going to take the Pistons to win. Hawks versus the Heat as well that day. I'm going to take the Heat because they're my favorite team. Memphis versus Houston. I hate Houston, so I'm going to take Memphis. Charlotte versus Milwaukee. Milwaukee will most likely win it, but I'm going to say Charlotte. Dallas versus Golden State. I'm going to take Golden State. Raptors versus Spurs. I'm going to take I'm going to take Spurs on that one. Wizard versus Denver. I'm going to take Wizards. And Phoenix Suns versus Sacramento Kings. Phoenix Suns are one of my top 5 favorite teams, so I'm going to go ahead and take Phoenix to win that. I would love to see Phoenix actually hit the finals as well. But yeah, that's my top 5 favorite teams. Of course, Heat. Then in order would be number 1 would be Miami. Number 2 would be Suns. Number 3 would be Orlando. 4 Hornets, and of course 5th the Portland. Those are my top 5 favorite teams. Hopefully they all do good right now, but I guess they are currently doing okay. Like I said, it's kind of too early to really be talking about standings and stuff like that. But right now, number 1 in the Eastern Conference is the Wizards with 2 wins, no losses. Toronto as well, 2-0. Cleveland 2-1. Yeah, so they did have a loss there, which I kind of figured. Then Orlando 2-1, Detroit 2-1, Milwaukee 2-1, Charlotte 1-1, Atlanta 1-1, Brooklyn 1-1, Miami 1-1, Indiana 1-2, and so on and so forth. I have no surprises actually so far, as for who's doing as good as they are. I really don't have any surprises or anything like that. I mean, Toronto's always had a good team. I think they'll go far, so there's definitely no surprise that they're in the top 5. Orlando, I hope, does really good this year. Hope obviously Miami does really good this year. I'm definitely hoping that the Suns do really good. I don't think they're really going to do very good at all. Yeah, Golden State is 1-2, so excuse me, too early to really tell and be talking about their standings. But there it is. Those are the NBA standings so far. But yeah, so Grizzlies ended up beating the Warriors the last time they played, 111-101, which is definitely pretty good on their part. I mean, Warriors lost last year, but they didn't really have like big deficit and stuff like that. I mean, Kevin Durant was ejected during the game, as well as Curry was. I mean, this is really unsportsmanlike conduct there. You could definitely go check it out at I don't know, you could probably go check it out on NBA.com, or you could check it out on YouTube as well, because I'm sure it is there to be seen as well. So yeah, that's the NBA so far. Not too much, just the beginning of the season, so can't really talk too much there. And let's get into switch gears so far and talk a little bit about the NLL, the National Lacrosse League. That, of course, is not starting yet. Not until December, anyway. I believe the beginning of December they usually start. I don't know. I'm thinking Colorado probably end up taking it this year, even though they haven't even played yet. But so far it looks pretty good. There's only like 10 teams on nine teams on the National Lacrosse League, so it's not really a huge thing. But I mean, they have like 5 months of play in the season, which is pretty average. I know the NBA season's a lot longer. I think it's like 9 months of play for the NBA. I think NHL is the same as well. I don't know. I don't really follow hockey. But yeah, that's really it for that as well. Teams. If you don't know the teams in the National Lacrosse League, there's Buffalo, Calgary, Colorado, Georgia, New England, Rochester, Saskatchewan, Toronto, Vancouver. So yeah, that's about it. They had a good season last season. Saskatchewan, yeah, it was like 12-6. 12 wins with like 6 losses, and then another team that had an even better year was Georgia with 13 wins and 5 losses. So definitely pretty awesome. Of course, the worst was Buffalo with 12 losses and 6 wins. Calgary did pretty good with 8 and 10. Actually, not really. Canadian teams did good. Saskatchewan, like I said, 12 wins, 6 losses. Toronto, 9 and 9. Vancouver, 9 and 9. Calgary, 8 and 10. So yeah, I mean, they didn't do too bad. They definitely have the most teams though, Canada, because they have 1, 2, 3, 4 teams. And America has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's almost even. 4 and 4, or yeah, almost even. But yeah, it's pretty sad that they only have that many teams. There definitely would be a lot better if there was a lot more teams in it, but of course there isn't. We could definitely check them out on YouTube as well. I would definitely recommend going over and checking it out. Just because, why not? I guess they have some pretty awesome. I haven't actually looked at their YouTube channel yet. I'm just doing that right now. They have some pretty good videos. I've never seen any. I guess it's just like highlights on games to watch and getting you. They have like top 10 moments and stuff like that. I should probably watch some of that. I haven't actually ever watched and the National Lacrosse League's YouTube channel before. So, yeah. Weird. Yeah, so I guess Georgia ended up winning it last year. They ended up winning the championship. Which they had like a 13 and 5 record, 13 wins with 5 losses. So they did have the best record last year. So I guess they ended up winning. I think I called Colorado to win last year when I had Sports and Beer channel on YouTube. I think I called them to Colorado to win it, but yeah, I guess Georgia ended up winning it. I kind of stopped following after a little while. I kind of got busy with a move and stuff like that, and so I didn't really end up watching it after excuse me, a little bit of time. But yeah, that's the win. This year I'm gonna call Saskatchewan versus Georgia probably for the final team this year, but you never know. It could be Rochester could take it, but yeah, you never know. But let's move on back to the NBA. Last year was a really good year for the NBA. Actually, there was a lot of Kevin Durant's first go on the team, first go was actually a great season for him. I'm definitely glad that he switched over right now. Actually, the game between the Hawks and the Nets are going on, and so far it's 5-0 for the Hawks. 5-2 actually. Atlanta Hawks are ahead 5. Brooklyn Nets are trailing by 2. So that's not too bad for them. I called the Hawks to win that game. I'll see if I'm right. I don't think I'm ever right. I was right last year though. I think I called the Warriors. I should have videotaped it because I think I called the Warriors to win last year, but I don't know if I actually did or not. I might have called the Cavs to win that, but I definitely called the Warriors versus the Cavs. I'm calling the 3-peat right now would definitely be awesome if they went that far, but I don't know if the Warriors are actually going to make it this year. So let's check out some. I can't even pronounce like half the NBA players on these teams. Like I can't even pronounce like half of them. I don't even know how half these announcers could pronounce half of them or not. But yeah, like I said, I've been pretty sick lately, so my voice is probably not all in there. But yeah, I'm definitely hoping Heat has a good year. Anthony Davis is getting 34 points per game, which is Anthony Davis is always a good scorer though. Stephen Curry 29, he's always a good scorer though. Anthony Davis rebounds 17.5. That guy should be playing for freaking Miami Heat or something. Like he's really good. Draymond Green, of course, assists 9.3. Kevin Durant blocks 4.7. He's a good blocker. Definitely. As well as Willie Reed, 75 field goal percentage. James Harden, 3 points made, 14. Now I definitely hate James Harden. I don't really like this guy at all because of the simple fact that he's just too cocky. He keeps saying that he's the greatest NBA player to have ever lived, but yet, where is your ring? You know, I'm definitely hate that I had to say that, but it's very true. I mean, he's just very cocky guy, and was saying that, or trying to say that he was the greatest best NBA player to ever live, but yet he doesn't have an NBA ring, and he doesn't really get scouted, or nobody really wants him on their team. That's kind of why he's like staying with Houston. I don't know how anybody could really like Houston. I definitely don't like them at all. They drive me nuts. I mean, they're just because like you know that they're not gonna make it. It's like I think they only, the furthest they've ever made it was second round in the playoffs. Somebody on YouTube, I'm sure, or wherever, could correct me on that one and let me know if I'm wrong, because I probably am. But I think they've only ever made it to the second round of the playoffs. I don't think they've ever made it any further. I mean, that would be a good game though. I mean, Heat versus Houston for like final round or something. I actually went to Toronto, and I seen I think I cursed Miami actually when I went to Toronto one year. I went to Toronto and I seen a Miami Heat game live with my wife. She got me tickets for my birthday, which was awesome. I ended up seeing them live, and they actually lost. Like, Miami Heat ended up losing to Toronto. That was like the first game that they like lost to Toronto, and ever since then they've just been like, they had a really bad year that year though. That was like the first year that they were without LeBron and everything like that, and Chris Bosh and stuff like that. I think Wade was still on the team. Yeah, Wade was still on the team then as well. But yeah, I like cursed the team because ever since then they like kept losing. to Toronto and that. So now it's definitely not a guaranteed win for Toronto, and I feel solely responsible for it because I went to a live game and I cursed them out. But I guess that should be okay. I do apologize for anybody that I've cursed during that game. I apologize. Yeah, so tomorrow I have a cross meeting because I think I might get into coaching or something like that for it. Yeah. So anyway, that's I know it's only a pretty quick podcast, but that's going to be the podcast for today. If you guys are watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Anywhere else, check it out, you say.